76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Is that you? I'm the CEO of 5 different companies. I wasn't born into it. We lived on welfare, but I wanted more. I created this show, The School of Wealth, helping people escape poverty like I did. I want to help you out of that consumer debt.
This is Brother Kim Carter. We just want to say thank you for reaching out to us, meeting our concerns and what we need to do. And I know you guys working hard on your side for the Carters, and that we are looking forward to be financially free.
Teach you how to increase your credit score. Teach you how to make more money at your current job or your current business. And then how to actually create generational wealth without changing your lifestyle. It is going to be a lot of fun. This is not like regular school. Hey, I'm Rondi Lambeth, and this is the School of Wealth.
Hello, my friends. How are you doing this Thursday afternoon? Hope you're doing well. Having a little snow here in Boise. We're supposed to get 20 inches, almost 2 feet of snow in the next 4 days. I'm sure they're going to call it something like Snowmageddon. So anyway, so I want to talk about building business credit and obtaining business funding. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. As always, you can ask any question you have regarding personal credit. So maximizing your personal credit, getting items removed from your credit report, like late payments, collections, charge-offs, short sales, repossessions, foreclosures, even bankruptcies can be legally, permanently removed from your credit report. In fact, for the last 18 years now, we've deleted hundreds of thousands of items just like that permanently from credit reports in as little as 30 to 90 days. So that is through our paper delete. So if you have any questions on credit, repairing your credit, maximizing your credit score, feel free to ask. I recommend that if you have a question, just type it in, and then I will get to every single question before I drop off. So if there is no questions, then the call won't go very long. Okay? If you have any questions on business credit, business funding, feel free to ask any question on that, as well as any questions on reducing your personal income tax, reducing your corporate income tax, or protecting your assets. So for the last 37 years now, 37 years, I have been playing in the tax game. What I mean by that is when I was 16 years old, I went to work for a very wealthy man named Wally Williams, and Wally owned lots of different businesses. And what he taught me at 16 years old was it does not matter how much money you make. It matters how much money you keep. So remember that. Regardless of how much money you make is irrelevant. It only matters how much money you keep. So if you live in the state of California, for example, and you make over $1 million a year, you're paying 68% tax. So if you make $1 million, you keep a little over 300,000. That is just gross and disgusting. And I want to stop that for you. I want to help you with that. So let's get into building business credit so you can get business funding. Real quick, someone asked, what is the phone number to the office so I can get someone to reply to a phone call that I've made numerous times? Well, Kit, on YouTube, if you're calling the office and you're leaving a voicemail, and they're not calling you back, that sucks. What I usually find is people just call in and hang up, and we do not call back people who call in and hang up. So the number to call is 1-800-475-7267. That's 1-800-475-7267. And then when you get there, hit option 2, and that will connect you to a live credit consultant. If you hit option 1, it goes to the sales team, which are on the phone pretty much all day long, and they are very intermittent to answer because I have more people calling than I have salespeople to answer the phone. But if you are a client, if you hit option 2, there are dozens of people that can answer the phone at any time for you. And we usually start answering the phone. Everyone is working from 10 to 5 Pacific, but there are 1 or 2 people working at 6 a.m. So 1-800-475-7267. If you call and leave a voicemail and someone does not call you back, I get tagged. Our phone system actually tells me if they're not called back. So, but you have to leave a voicemail. So let's get into some business credit and business funding. So a lot of people will talk about getting business credit. You know, you can get business credit and you get money. Well, think about it like this. Business credit is your actual credit report. So you got to build your business credit so you can get business funding. So a lot of people will just call it business credit. So think about it with your personal credit. You get a credit card. They then report to the credit bureaus. And then once they report to the credit bureaus, you now, after 3 months of them reporting, you will then have what's called a FICO credit score or a Vantage credit score. So there are two major players in the personal credit realm are Vantage and FICO. In the business credit realm, there's many. There's TransRisk, there's Paydex, there's Intella, there's Liquid, there's FICO. These are all different types of credit scoring. So think about it like as a software, right? The credit bureau, which they're not a bureau, they're not part of the federal government. They created that name to intimidate you, making you think that it's bureau, kind of like the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They're not even part of the government. They're funded. Do you guys know this? The CFPB, you know, that big organization that Trump has got on hold right now that he's going to shut down. They're supposed to be a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That is not what they are. They're not even paid or funded by Congress. Did you guys know that? They are funded by the banking cartel. They're not part of Congress. They're not regulated by Congress. Elizabeth Warren created this through the help of a banking cartel. The most powerful and richest people on the planet got together and created this fake bureau to shut down the little guy. In fact, they've collected over $1 billion for the little guy that they've never paid out. They're just holding it. How messed up is that? You get taken advantage of. They go after the person who took advantage of you, ripped you off, scammed you, and then they get money and then they keep it. That's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So the credit bureaus are not federal organizations. They're private companies that collect and sell your data. So on the personal side as well as the business side. On the business side, we have Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, and Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet creates the Paydex score. When you call Dun & Bradstreet or they call you, know this. There's two divisions of Dun & Bradstreet. There is the sales division that sells you stuff, and then there's the credit reporting division. You will never, ever talk to the credit reporting division. When you call in, you're talking to the sales division. I would highly recommend that you never buy anything from Dun & Bradstreet outside of their credit monitoring if you want to start building up your credit profile so you can monitor it. But as far as like getting a DMB number or paying them to report your self-reported accounts, it's not worth it. It's just it's not going to help you much because the majority of the banks, the big banks, don't use Dun & Bradstreet. Once you have your Paydex score of 80 or above, which is the equivalent of an 800 FICO, which can be obtained in 3 months versus 10 years with FICO, with personal credit. So you could set up an LLC or an S corporation or C corp today, and in 3 months from now, have the equivalent of an 800 FICO with Dun & Bradstreet. And once you have that, you just maintain it by occasionally buying things through tier 1 vendors like Geringer, Gepler, Uline, Pitney Bowes, etc. And they then report to Dun & Bradstreet, and then Dun & Bradstreet will report to your banks. And you just basically, your Dun & Bradstreet report is just telling the banks, hey, you pay your bills on time. Because here's what the banks have figured out. If you do not have an 80 Paydex, and you're a 79 or 75 or 70, then they know you're the kind of person that one of two things. You are unorganized or irresponsible. So unorganized and irresponsible, and you pay your bills late, or you're a business that just pays your bills late. Maybe you don't pay at all. You get no grace period when it comes with business credit, and there's no way to fix it without paying tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, you can actually fix business credit, but a late payment is going to cost you about $5,000 to $10,000 to remove it because there's no regulation. And so you basically have to pay off the creditor that reported you late. So, and banks know this. And so that's why if you have an 80 Paydex, the equivalent of an 800 FICO, they're like, it's rubber stamped, you're approved. And then they look into your IntelliScore or your FICO liquid score, right? So step one is you need to make sure your Dun and Bradstreet number, your DMB number, you have that. You need to make sure that all of the information on the Secretary of State's website matches what you are putting on the application. The number one reason that people or businesses are denied business funding is when they apply for business funding on an application, the information does not match what the Secretary of State has. There might be a clerical error, like there's a period or a comma in between the LLC and the name, or a comma in between the Inc., or maybe there's a period after the Inc. for incorporated. Maybe you typed out limited liability company instead of LLC, which either one's fine, but it has to match. Or let's say that you set up the company 10 years ago when you lived in Las Vegas and now you're in San Diego and you're using a San Diego address and you never updated the Secretary of State's address. That's another reason. Here's another reason people are denied business funding, and it's really common. They use a Gmail email or a Yahoo or an AOL or a Proton Mail. So instead of using like my email for Fortress is Rondi, R-O-N-D-I, at fortressu.com. For my other business, it's Rondi at fortresscreditpro.com. For Credit Mojo, it's Rondi at creditmojo.com. For my real estate company, it's Rondi at m25.com. Do I have an individual Gmail account? Yes. Do I have an iCloud account? Yes. But when I apply for business funding, I never use my personal email. I also do not use my personal cell phone number. So in order to get approved, to make it past the automatic underwriting, the information on the application has to match what the Secretary of State has. Your email needs to match your website. And if you don't have a website, you need to create one. And then you need to have a business phone number that's registered under the business name, not your personal cell name or your personal name. Here's why, guys. Every day, these banks, credit card companies, lending institutions, personal hard money lenders, etc. Every day they get applications, and they say that approximately 85%, 85, so out of every 100 applications they get, and they get thousands of applications every day, 85 of these applications are fraud. 85% of banks, of the applications submitted to banks every day, is fraudulent. And so if your information does not match the Secretary of State perfectly, they just auto decline, and they don't tell you why. Because what happens is you have players in Ukraine, you have players in China, in Russia, in Korea that can go and look up your business EIN number because it's not protected. It's not like personal where your Social Security number is protected. They can pay $40 to Experian and know how many credit cards you have. They know how many loans you have, how many lines of credit you have, how much revenue you're generating. They know your addresses, your emails, etc. And then what they do is they go online and they apply on behalf of Walmart. And then there's just a different address. So if the address does not match, the Secretary of State gets declined. Now, why would they apply under Walmart with a different address? Because they want the new credit card shipped to the other address. They don't want it going to Walmart's corporate address. I'll give you an example. Today, on the way at lunchtime, I took a little break, took my girlfriend out for lunch, and we went to the little poke bowl place here in Eagle and got some tuna and crab and salmon bowl. It was really good. It was $46, by the way, for lunch. Isn't that crazy? But anyway, good thing we used it as a business write-off because it was a business lunch. So at least 50% off. Not 100%, but 50%. So on the way there, her phone starts ringing. It pops up, and I'm in my car, and I can see the display because her phone was connected to the vehicle. And it says Bank of America. And she looks at me and she goes, "Why is Bank of America calling me? I don't have a Bank of America account." I'm like, "I don't know why they're calling you." Because I know neither one of us have Bank of America accounts. I don't bank with them. So she answers it. And it's some foreigner, or I assume a foreigner because they had a foreign or accent, claiming to be Bank of America, trying to get her social security number, saying that someone was trying to log in and hack into her account. And so she just hung up on them and reported it. But they literally had changed the caller ID to show Bank of America. And obviously it's a scam because neither one of us have accounts with Bank of America. So my point to that is you got to be careful with your information, but because it's not private. It's all accessible. I can pay $40 right now and pull every single one of you right now on this call. I can pull your personal credit. Your business credit. I can know your revenue. I can know how long you've been in business, how many credit cards, how many loans, how many lines of credit, everything. And then I can just duplicate your account and start applying for credit in your name. And 85% is fraud, but some of them make it through. Look at what Doge is discovering. Billions and billions and billions of dollars that the U.S. government has been sending to scam artists, to fraudsters, and to terrorists. Billions. So when it comes to business credit and business funding, the number one reason that you are denied credit and funding is because your information doesn't match. So you need to make sure it matches on the Secretary of State's website. And then you want to start building out your business credit. And the best way to do that is through the tier 1 vendor accounts. Now, if you are a business credit client, this is the very first section. When you log in to your business credit application builder software, after you get past the compliance, the very first set of accounts, the Grangers, the Ulines, the Geplers, the Pitney Bowes, and all the rest of them, and there's hundreds of them in there. Those are your tier 1s. You want to establish accounts with them. They're going to be net 30 accounts. That means that you buy it today, then you have 30 days to pay it off. No personal credit check. They're taking you at your word. You're going to pay them. And yes, does it cost a little bit more through these websites? Of course it does, because they're reporting it to the bureaus and they're trusting that you will pay them with no background check on you. Now, will they let you buy tens of thousands of dollars of products? No, they're going to let you buy hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars of stuff like paper towels, batteries, paper plates, fire extinguishers, cleaning supplies, Sharpies. Oh, I love my haters. You guys give Daryl Andrew a little bit of love. Oh, somebody already deleted him. He said, "Nobody watches your videos. Give up now. Go kill yourself." What a wonderful individual. Bye, Daryl. So these trolls, they're so much fun. I love my haters. They're the ones that get the algorithm working. So you want to get your tier 1 vendors going, and you want to purchase something from them every month for 3 months in a row. So get a couple paper towels, get some paper plates, get some 9-volt batteries, stuff like that. Just little things. Yes, you could go to Walmart, buy the paper towels for probably less, but Walmart doesn't report you until you get up into the corporate credit, until you get the corporate Walmart credit card. So you got to start somewhere. So that's where you want to start. And then once you get 3 to 5 of them reporting, after 3 months, you'll have an 80 to an 85 PAYDEX score. Now, what's the difference between 80 and an 85 PAYDEX score? 5 days. If you pay on time, you'll have an 80 PAYDEX. If you pay 5 days early, you'll have an 85 PAYDEX, which is the equivalent of an 850 FICO, which if you want to build personal credit, that's going to take you 20 plus years and virtually impossible to obtain. And even if you get it, it's almost impossible to retain an 850 because the moment you use your credit card or you apply for new credit, it's going to drop below 850. But on business credit, you can have an 85 PAYDEX in 3 to 6 months. And that's just as good as an 850 FICO when it comes to the eyes of the bank giving you funding. So you want to buy some things. And if there's things on there you just don't need paper towels, then buy it and donate it to charity and get a tax write-off. Okay? You can simply do that. Donate it to charity, get the tax write-off. So once you get through the tier 1, you can go on to tier 2 and then tier 3 and tier 4. Now there's hundreds. There's actually over 500 vendors and banks and lenders inside our portal in our software. If you're not a business credit client and you want to obtain it, it's only a one-time payment of $497. That's it, $497, and you can get there by going to fortressu.com/business. That's fortressu.com/business. And Chastity will put that up here in a minute so you guys can see that. So let me see here. That was about 22 minutes. Now, once you have an 80 PAYDEX score, hopefully you get yourself a 85 PAYDEX score. You can start applying for the corporate credit and the bank, the store credit cards. And I really like my store credit cards. You know, I have one with Home Depot. You can get them with Lowe's. You get a $200,000 credit limit. I have business credit clients have $250,000 credit card with Home Depot and Lowe's. And you might be thinking to yourself, like, you know, I'm a financial advisor or a real estate agent or insurance agent. Why do I need, or social media expert, why do I need $250,000 of credit with Home Depot? Because they will give you up to 2 years, no interest. And you might think, well, I don't want to buy $250,000 of 2x4s. Well, you know what else they sell at Home Depot, Office Depot, Staples, Kohl's, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, and Home Depot? Prepaid Visa cards. You could take your Home Depot credit card, go into Home Depot. Let's say you get a $50,000 credit card with Home Depot at 0% interest for 2 years. You can go in and purchase $50,000 of prepaid Visa cards. You put $500 on each one of them, and you walk out of the store with 100 of them. You now have $50,000 of credit on those credit cards. Now, is there only $500 on each one? Yes. But you can pay for your Facebook ads. You can pay for anything that accepts Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. So these Home Depot cards are actually very valuable because now you're getting, 0% interest. And look at Heather. She says she loves her Lowe's card. I use the Visa cards, all my kitchen laundry stuff. Yeah. My mountain bike that I have. It was a $4,000, $5,000 mountain bike that I bought in 2000. I think I bought it in 2011, maybe 2012. I think it was 2011. I used my Office Depot card to purchase it, and I got 2 years, 0% interest. Now, why would I use the Office Depot card? Why not? It was $4,000 or $5,000, and I got it at 0% interest. So the payment was $50-$60 a month. And then at the end of it, I just paid it off. That way I leveraged that $5,000 in one of my investments. So this is how you use other people's money. Now, once you get your Home Depot, Office Depot, etc., you can go up to gas cards. Gas cards are great because also gas stations sell prepaid gift cards. But you can also pay for your gas and other things. And the point to all of this is these items report to the business credit bureaus. And this is how you build and establish business credit. So then when you go to Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, US Bank, Key Bank, Bank of the West, when you go to these banks, American Express, you have an 85 paydex score. You have a couple dozen items reporting to Experian. So you have a high Intellis score. You manage in your personal bank account with your business bank account. Now you have a high FICO liquid score. Then you can go to the bank without financials, just give them bank statements, and you can walk out with a $100,000 line of credit or a $100,000 loan. Now, maybe $100,000 is not a lot to you. What if you can do this 10 times in a row? Now you have $1 million of funding, all by building your business credit. Now, is there personal guarantees? Yes. Not on your vendors, not on your, usually not on a Home Depot, not on your gas cards. But if you go to a bank and they give you a $100,000 loan, there's a personal guarantee. Or if you go to American Express and they give you a $100,000 credit card, there's a personal guarantee. Even though it has your business name on it, until you get into commercial and corporate credit, there's always going to be a personal guarantee. Can you get yourself up to that commercial corporate? Yes, it takes about a year and it takes a lot of cash flow. So if you're a struggling business or a new business, it's going to be a while before you can get the unsecured, non-personally guaranteed credit cards. Because these banks, in order to get business funding, the bank wants to see that you can pay them back. They're not stupid. They'd be out of business if they gave money to everybody they want to loan to. See, banks want to give money to everyone. The more money they lend, the more they make. But they can't give it to everyone. They can only give it to people that are high likelihood they're going to pay them back. And so when you go to get this funding, they want to see that you have cash flow. They want to see that you have collateral. They want to see that you're managing your personal credit. They want to see that you're managing your business credit. One of the beautiful things about business credit is you can add people to your company as a CFO, chief financial officer, or as a secretary, or as a treasurer, a non-voting shareholder. So you can add these people to your LLCs, your S Corps, your C Corps. You can add them as members and shareholders with no voting rights. And you don't have to pay them. But you can add them so that way you can use their credit, their personal social security number, their personal credit when you're getting this funding. So for example, let's say that you have the business and your sister, who's a school teacher, has great personal credit. Your personal credit's in the toilet because COVID just destroyed you. But your sister, who's a school teacher, has great personal credit. Pay your sister $1,000, add her to the corporate paperwork, and then use your sister's personal credit to personally guarantee the corporate credit. And after 1 year of making payments on time, you can remove your sister from the corporate credit cards. And now it's just based on the company's credit because you've established a relationship with these banks. So think outside the box. Like think about who could I use? Maybe it's employees. Maybe it's vendors. Maybe it's relatives. Or you can go to a nursing home and find somebody that's got great personal credit. They're in the nursing home. And I'm not joking about that. I did that with my grandmother. My grandmother was in a nursing home. Her money, the income she got from Social Security wasn't enough to pay for her prescription. So I put her on salary. I added her to my company, and then I made it a company deduction. I paid my grandma in the nursing home to do stuff for me. And a lot of what she did was she just shared my Facebook videos. And so I paid her to do that. Why did I do that? Because it brings in business. So you can go to your grandparents, give them a little bit of money. I have a friend that makes over $5 million a year selling credit cards, other people's credit cards. He grosses $5 million. I think he's netting around $1 million because he pays out the majority of the money he charges. He pays out to the people who provide the credit cards. Same thing with us. We have over 5,000 credit cards I have access to. So if you have poor personal credit, we can put you on a $50,000 20-year-old card. It's going to cost you. But now, days later, you have a 20-year-old credit card with a $50,000 credit limit and only $100 owed on your credit profile. Guess what that does? It skyrockets your personal credit. It's called authorized users. And it still works with all of the FICO systems that the banks are using. So let's get in some questions here. Hey, William, good to see you. I have a question on business credit. I currently have a mortgage under my business name that I would like to know how to get it reported with the credit bureaus. Generally, most banks do not report business information to the business bureaus because they just don't want to pay for it. They also don't report it because here's the thing. If I was a banker, the first thing I would do is I would identify who I wanted to be my customer. And then I'd go to Experian.com. I'd pay Experian $40 and I would pull your business's credit report. And then I would see who you are banking with, who you have credit cards with, loans with, lines of credit, etc. And then I'd contact you, let you know, hey, William, it's Rondi with US Bank. I know we never met before. I'm new here. I'm hungry. I'm aggressive. And I want to work for you and get you some new credit cards, new lines of credit. I know you're over at Wells Fargo and I can beat their rates. That's what I would do. I'd just cold call people and offer them better deals than their competitor. Because see, bankers can pull business credit with no permissible purpose. There's no protection. And so a lot of times banks don't want to report their relationships on a business credit report because they don't want their competitors to know. So to answer your question, William, how do you get a bank to report it? You don't. If it doesn't report, it doesn't report. That's one of the nice things with our business credit software is everybody that's in the software, all the vendors and the banks and the lenders, they all report. And so you can go in there and knowing that you can get an account. And you don't need to, it's not like personal credit where you need to have 50, 60 accounts. You need to have 3 to 5 reporting to establish business credit. And if you got up to a dozen, you are doing great. I think Walmart has less than 20 accounts reporting. Think about that. One of the largest companies in the world with less than 20 accounts reporting. So you don't need to have, dozens and dozens of accounts. You just need a couple. Great question. I've not been able to get business credit cards like Capital One, etc. Yeah, so sometimes it's Capital One will look at your personal credit. They will look at your credit scores, and they look at other things, other factors. They look to see how much money you're actually making, and they can skip trace this. So with business credit, they can actually know how much revenue that you're doing because of your tax returns. With business credit, your stuff is not protected like personal. So for example, the American Express and the Capital One double cashback card, the green one, it has no payment plans. Those are charge cards. They're not credit cards. So you got to pay them off in full every month. So there's no interest unless you default. So the way they're making the money is on the transactions. So some of these banks want to see you running $50,000 a month through the credit card because they make it off the transactions. So that could be one of the reasons that you're not getting the credit cards, because they might just not like something else that's on your credit, or on a Dun and Bradstreet report on you, or a I just lost there's another credit bureau, LexisNexis report. That's one of the largest credit bureaus out there, LexisNexis. It's a credit bureau. So it could be a million different reasons that they're not approving you. So my advice is, instead of focusing on just those, go to the next one. Trump talked about this the other day with Canada. Canada only has, I think it's 8 banks. It's either 8 or 5. But Canada won't allow US banks into Canada, but we allow Canadian banks into America. So it's okay for them to take American money, but they will not let American banks make money off of Canadian citizens. So if you were living in Canada, Heather, I would say, man, that sucks, because there's only 4 more banks to go to. But in America, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of banks to choose from. So what else we got? We got any other questions? Here we go. You'll be shocked what Lowe's on their app. Way more stuff: desktop, desk, chair, and more. Yeah, they have great things on their app that you can buy. And again, you can use those Lowe's credit cards to purchase gift cards. And then you can get the gift cards to purchase other things. And then it reports. And that's the key, is you just need a couple accounts reporting to build up that business credit. Because a lot of times when we go out and we get you these loans and lines of credit, it's a personal relationship with that banker. They just want to see that you're actually using business credit. They don't need to see dozens, if not, they don't see pages and pages of things. They just need to see that you're actually doing business. You're a real business with a real website and a real phone number and a real email address, that you're not just playing business, that you're an actual real business. Because most businesses in America, it's just their alter ego. They're sole proprietors. They merge everything. They commingle their funds. Yes, maybe they incorporated in Nevada. They live in California, but they're just playing business. So banks just want to see it's real. Okay. Do you get personal inquiries for applying for business credit cards? Generally, yes. And thanks for asking that question, because inquiries, this is about the only time that inquiries really matter, is when it comes to business funding. Because business banks don't like to loan to people with more than 5 inquiries. In fact, Chase has what's called the 524 rule. What that means is no more than 5 inquiries in a 24-month period or 2-year period. If you have more than 5 inquiries in a 2-year period, it's an automatic denial, regardless of what your credit score is, regardless of your cash flow, regardless of your history. Automatic denial. So when it comes to inquiries, about the only time you really need to worry about them is if you're applying for business funding. Most banks will look at your personal credit. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be denied because of your personal credit, but they just want to know, what's going on with this person. So yes, banks generally will pull your personal credit when you apply for business credit cards. I have a ambassadorship with American Express, and one of the advantages there is you can apply for over 20 credit cards with 1 inquiry. So you can literally get over 20 American Express credit cards with 1 inquiry. You can also get a loan with them, and you can get a line of credit with them with 1 inquiry. So if any of you have at least a 720 credit score and you have a business that does over $10,000 a month in revenue, and you would like to get business funding from American Express, send me a DM on social media, or you can email me or give the office a call, and I'll get you introduced to my American Express rep, and then they'll get you taken care of. 720 credit score, $10,000 a month in revenue. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Good to see you. Is that it, Chastity? So again, if you are watching as a guest and you want business funding, you can go to fortressu.com/business. You can get signed up there. If you are a client and you need to get in touch with customer service or with Vanessa regarding your personal credit or your business credit, you can always go to fortresscreditpro.com or even fortressu.com, and you click on active client, and then you schedule an appointment. That's probably the best way to do it. Or you can just call in at 1-800-475-7267, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Pacific Standard Time. So you can always just call in. And as long as you hit option 2, you'll be connected to somebody's live. If you hit option 1 for the sales department, you're probably going to get voicemail because we are on the phone. We have more people asking for us to help their credit than we have people. Are you available for consultation? Absolutely. Go to the website. Chastity will put it up there, and you can grab a time that works for you. So we do consultations, whether it's on the business side, on the personal credit side, the tax side, the asset protection side. Just go to the website, click on right there, fortresscreditpro.com. Pick a time that works for you, and we will give you a call during that time. What else? I'm looking for questions here. Okay. I think this is going to be a wrap, guys, because I don't see any more questions. I think we're good. Hold on a second. Oh, I'll show this one. It's not a question. So, Kit. Somebody had asked somebody had asked for a phone call, and we see that we already increased his credit score 40 points in his first month. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, let's see here. Oh, thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate you. You're awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Heather. Let's see here. Ed, you have a question, so we'll see here. What's the value of verifying our address each month? So what that has to do with is the credit bureaus, they know that the majority of credit repair companies are a monthly credit repair company. They get paid to try, and I do that in quotations, try to fix someone's credit. Here's how it works. You pay them $99 a month, $129 or whatever. How hard do you think that company's actually going to work on trying to fix everything on your credit? Because if you're paying monthly and they fix everything, are you going to continue to pay them $99 a month for the next 3 years? No, you're going to cancel. As soon as your credit's fixed, you cancel. So they have to purposely drag the process out as long as possible. Otherwise, if they work like us on pay per delete and they dispute everything all at once and try to get credit fixed in the first 30 days, they'd be out of business in a heartbeat. Because if they fix everything, you cancel on them because there's no reason to pay them $100 a month if everything's fixed. So the purpose of the monthly, of sending in your IDs or your proof of address, is the bureaus know that one of the tactics that these monthly credit repair companies do is they don't include proof of address. And it is clearly right on the credit bureau's website. If you dispute anything, you must provide us with proper identification showing your face, your birthday, proof of your social security number, and proof of your address. And it clearly says right on their website, if you do not provide these 3 documents, we will ignore your disputes. So what do credit repair companies that are charging you a monthly fee do? They purposely don't send the IDs and the proof of address because they know that's going to automatically add 3 to 6 months of credit repair. And it'll go back and forth for 6 months. We find this is frivolous. And they're like, oh, we're going to escalate it. We know it's not sent by you. Oh, it's suspicious. And then they escalate it and they escalate it. So the reason that we ask for proof of address every month is we are trying to fix your credit right now versus drag it out for 9 to 12 months. Because the way we make our money is by charging you per item we get removed, or by getting you business funding, or helping you with your life insurance, or helping you with your taxes, or business coaching. The credit repair is simply lead generation. Primarily lead generation for business owners that are struggling financially. Because that's where I spend most of my time is coaching business owners. Help setting up their accounts so their assets are protected. Creating trusts in C Corps and LLCs and partnerships so they can reduce their taxes. Create a legacy plan for their family so there's no estate tax. Protecting their assets so if they ever get sued from an ambulance chaser or some frivolous lawsuit that no one can take anything from them. That's why we do the credit repair. It started out as a charity because my little brother, at 21 years old, in 2005, I was a fireman at the time. He also was a firefighter. He was getting harassed by collection companies. Medical bills, BS garbage, a couple $1,000s, nothing major, a couple grand. Girlfriend called him a loser because he had bad credit, couldn't get a credit card, couldn't get loans. And he ended up killing himself. Over a couple $1,000s of collections. And so I decided I was going to start Fortress to help people, to try to save some lives, because that's what I was doing as a fireman. I was saving people's lives every day. And I wanted to do more than just the fire department. I wanted to help people before they got to the 911 call. So I started the company, made it pay per delete, got really good at deleting items, and then turned it from a nonprofit to a for-profit company. And I've helped tens of thousands of people over the last 18 years. And as I've grown and helped all these people, I've learned things on how to protect people's assets, how to stop garnishments, how to stop judgments, how to settle credit cards, how to reduce taxes, how to settle old tax bills. And by taking the Uniform Commercial Code, also known as UCC, which is the most powerful law in the world, it's how the whole world works, how commerce works, and then combining that with the Fair Credit Report Act and combining that with the Internal Revenue Code, I have created a system that if you are a business owner, and you make money, so if you don't make any money, I can't really help you. But if you're a business owner and you make money, I can cut your taxes in half, if not reduce it to 0. And at the same time, protect your assets, protect your children's, protect your legacy so your great-great-grandkids can benefit from your hard work. You know, I saw a story a couple weeks ago and it made me mad. It made me sad. It was Rudy Giuliani. He said some stupid stuff. We all say stupid things. He got sued. And part of the lawsuit, in an attempt to hurt him, they took his prized possession, which was his World Series ring that he was given. And they took it from him because he said some stupid stuff. Now, what's the value of that? I don't know. it probably is not worth, money wise as much it is for emotional, but they took it from him because they wanted to hurt him. It was a political thing. And it made me mad because they did this as a political thing to get back at Trump and get back at him. And so they wanted to hit him where it would hurt most. And so they took his ring from him. And it made me sad that they were able to do this. If he was one of my clients, they couldn't have done that. Doesn't matter if he was screaming from the mountaintops offensive language that hurt their feelings. They wouldn't have been able to take the ring, because when I would have got done with his corporate structures for his asset protection, it'd be off limits because it wouldn't have been his ring anymore. So we would have moved it out of his personal control into the control of commerce, put it in a trust. They couldn't touch it at all because it wouldn't be his anymore. He still has control of it. He still gets to wear it, still gets to use it, still gets to show it off, show his friends the ring, but he doesn't own it. And therefore, if you don't own it, they can't take it. And if you live by the motto of own nothing, control everything, your life will change. And so that's why I do what I do with the credit repair. It's to help people like you protect your assets from frivolous lawsuits, to protect your children, to protect your finances, to reduce your taxes. You shouldn't be paying tens of thousands of dollars a year so they can send it to Guatemala to study what happens when you give vodka or cocaine to a parrot. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't be spending $50 million to provide some other country with condoms. Let their own country buy them condoms. Why do we have to do it? I think the most patriotic thing you can do is figure out how to lower your taxes, because then we can hold the politicians accountable. We can create our own revolution by holding them accountable. Because if they didn't have all of our money, they couldn't waste it. So that's what I do most of the time. All right. Hope you guys like that. Let's see. Can I increase my credit score by here's a good question. Can I increase my credit score by getting more credit cards and not using them? No. How do you like that answer? No. That'd be like, let me put it this way. Can I increase the size of my biceps by getting a gym membership and never using it? Can I get my six-pack abs? Work on my butt? Get my chest bigger by buying a bunch of gym memberships and then never using them? No. In order for a credit card to benefit your credit report so you can get a higher credit score, you have to use them. Good question. Oh, thanks, Heidi. Oh, yeah. Justin Clotton and I used to spend a lot of time together. A lot of time. As in like a lot, because his dad's property bordered my grandfather's property. And so as kids, I mean, we played with Justin. He was younger than me, but we spent a lot of time with Clottons, like a lot. Own nothing. Yeah, own nothing. Control everything. You guys want to know what I own? I'll let you in on a secret. I own the hat. I own the glasses. I own the shirt. I own the ring. I own this watch. I don't own all my watches. The studio behind me, I don't own it. The Jeep, I don't own it. The Ferrari, don't own it. The Toyota Tundra back there that I drive every day, don't own it. That airplane, I don't own it. This microphone, don't own it. The monitors in front of me, don't own it. Camera, the desk, the phone, are you guys getting it? I don't own it. I own the clothes that I wear, and that's it. Everything else of mine, I control. Which means if anybody ever sues me What can they take from me? Well, they can take this hat if they want. They can take my clothes. They can't take my house because I don't own it. Can't take my cars. I don't own it. Can't take my airplane. Don't own it. Can't take my bank accounts because I don't own any bank accounts. Actually, I have 2 personal bank accounts, and I think both of them have about $100 in them. Maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. That's it. Everything else I control. I do not own. And that's really important. If you can live that lifestyle, own nothing, control everything. And it is such a freeing thing because I never have to worry about anyone ever taking anything from me for no reason. Now, can the IRS come in and take it? Yeah, if I commit fraud, the IRS could. They can just take your stuff. The government can take your stuff. But individuals, civil lawsuits, criminal lawsuits, etc., they can't take my stuff. If I commit fraud, tax evasion, or whatever, which I would never do, I follow the rules. It's easier just to follow the rules than it is to break the rules. So much easier. You know, I watch Cops and American Greed, and I see it on Instagram, and it's like, some of these criminals are so talented. Why don't they just take their efforts and their energy and their talent and actually do something legit? Why do they got to rip people off? Like with American Greed. I personally know some people that are under federal indictment right now. Some of them are sitting in jail. I'm not going to say who they are. You know who they are as well. Big social media people. It's like, why don't they just follow the rules? Why do you got to lie and cheat and steal and scam? It's just so much easier. Same thing with the IRS. It's just so much easier to report all of your income and just follow the rules so you don't have to pay any taxes on it. Because if you follow the rules, you pay no tax. That's the whole thing. All right, guys. I appreciate you. I got a whole bunch of snow I got to go shovel. I'm going to use a snowblower. So anyway, thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.